I welcome you, sir. Our second panel member is Mr. Pradeep Tiwari from Batch 4. He is working as a project manager at Reliance Foundation in Shahdol, Madhya Pradesh. He has a work experience of 10 years and has completed MBA and is a certified in design thinking from University of Virginia. He is a university gold medalist and was in advisory panel of youth affairs in the government of Karnataka. We welcome you, sir. Our third panelist is Mr. Safdar Afaq from Batch 7. He is working as a senior program manager at Piramal Foundation in Bhopal. He has been leading product development, government and private partnerships at Piramal Foundation. He has an experience of 7 years and has worked with ICICI previously. He has completed a PG diploma in marketing management from IMT. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Our fourth speaker is Mr. Sahara Bisoy from Batch 16. He is currently working with the SBI Foundation as an assistant manager in Mumbai. He has worked with Odisha Livelihoods Mission earlier, where he contributed to important projects like distress management, mobile medical unit, anti-human trafficking, and child labor. We welcome you, sir. I now take the opportunity to introduce the moderator for the session, Mr. Akash Sharma from PGDM RM Batch 1. He is an analyst with Sattva Consulting, Bangalore, and has worked with Punjab SIRD previously. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Rashika.
The panel discussion would be till 5:30 p.m., after which we would have a 15 minutes question and answer session. I request all the participants to kindly keep their microphones muted. The questions for the panel may be kindly be shared in the chat box. I now request our moderator to kindly take over the session. Thank you.
Hello all. Can you hear me?
Akash, we can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
Hello. A very good afternoon to all, and thank you, Rashika, for this introduction. And it's my honor to be moderator for this session. And we have panelists from across the batches, and I think the gap between the batches is also very nice. We have someone from batch 1, Avinav sir, and freshly from from batch 15, we have Sahara. So we are seeing the both extremes. So we're going to have a lot of, I think, insights from this session. So I would like to begin to set the context first. The CSR we're going to talk about, the corporate social responsibility. So in India, if you see before these laws and everything, this arrangement came, before that, people with lot of wealth, who were fortunate enough or work hard enough to gain lot of wealth, they used to give their wealth, some share of that, for the society to make a better place, because they understand that the society is what they live in and they need it to be a better place. Then it begins when the corporation time came in, and the big corporations started to build profit over the services they're selling us. They're solving certain problem and they're earning money over it. And in this process, they consume the resources of the society. They consume the society, use the society to build this wealth. So they feel this urge and the need to give back to the society. And now when 20th century and the modern management technique came in, the corporates start to realize that we need to give back, include the people, the environment, and the society in the context of our working, and we need to function in that way that we work in harmony with everything around us and still make profit. So they started building this business model where they try to hold themselves socially accountable to the different to the society, and it also helps them in the building a brand value. That helps the employee to get a sense of a return back they are doing to society. It's give meaning to their work, and so and then it became and then India took a very huge step by making a law. in 2013 under Section 135 of the Constitution. We got a first CSR law where every Indian company with with 500 crore of net worth or a turnover of 1,000 crore or net profit of 5 crore have to set up a CSR committee and share some percentage, 2% of their profit into the CSR activity. So currently, as per the government data, we have around 16,000 companies which are doing CSRs, and total amount spent till now is around 10,000 crores in the CSR, and total number of CSR project going on in the country right now is around 9,500. And they are working over 29 themes, which we know about in the Panchayat, agriculture, education, and different 29 subjects we know. So this was the base, I think, what happening around the CSR. And the CSR played a very big role in the help in many situations like the COVID we saw recently. They helped the government and everyone in bringing in their support to the society. So we'll begin the discussion with our panel. I hope I've set the context well and we can begin the discussion. And so my first question will be about like if our panelists can introduce the organization they work in and what kind of project they are doing currently. Yeah, so we will begin with Abhinav sir, and then followed by Pradeep sir, Sapta sir, and then Sahara. So they can please you can answer.
Yeah, thank you, Akash. Thank you so much. Hello, I'm audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Thank you, Akash, and thank you, everyone. And thank you, Karthik, for inviting me as a panelist for this such a beautiful and wonderful session. So I would like to start being as a, like, currently, if you're talking about my experience in terms of development sector, I started with skill development during my campus selection. Started from AD Solaris, and first was my Odisha, from Odisha to now, then Tamil Nadu, and then again other southern states, then MP, and now I'm working in my home states, that is Uttar Pradesh. So I've started with my journey with skill development and livelihood, and but now from last 1.5 years, I'm looking after this monitoring and evaluation team, leading this monitoring and evaluation team of SCL Foundation. And this is since now, if you're talking about in CSR, and this department, especially in monitoring and evaluation department, which recently has been formed officially in our SCL Foundation. That is, earlier it was not there. So after having this new CSR law, which has been introduced last year, it has been mandatory from each and every company that this monitoring and evaluation should have each and every company should have a monitoring evaluation team. That's why now I got this opportunity to lead this department. So I'm looking after being a SCL Foundation. We are working in 6 sectors right now. If you're talking about 6 sectors in terms of livelihood, agriculture, water and sanitation, health, and infrastructure, right? And education, infrastructure, right? 6 sectors which right now we are working, and I'm looking after all these sectors in terms of monitoring, evaluation, ESG reporting, ESG report, which is a very important for each and every in terms of companies, and also this is a very important part, which is for the monitoring evaluation team. Apart from monitoring and evaluation of the ongoing projects, which is a very important part, is not only ESG. Apart from that is this SDG goals, which is a very important right now. SDG goal, how many SDG goals? There are parameters of the SDG goals.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah,
to.
Abhinav sir. Yeah,
Hmm,
we will go in deep in with the subjects.
okay,
We can. It's introduction about the work
right,
you're doing. You are handling the ESG and all the 6 subjects in the SCL Foundation. What I
right.
understood, and different subjects. So yeah, Pradeep sir. Can you please give a brief about what kind of projects you're doing currently, what you're working on right
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hope I'm audible to everybody.
now?
Believe,
Yes, sir.
Am I
can
audible?
You're
you
audible.
speak little bit? It's a very your sound
Yeah.
is very low. Can you speak little bit loud?
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Um, First of all, I would like to thank the Alumni Association for organizing this wonderful session for the people of our batches. You are doing a great job, actually. And if I say that if I have to introduce myself, I would like to share my journey, which has started with Reliance Foundation. And I am fortunate to have privileged to have opportunity to work in one of the biggest philanthropic initiatives in the country, Reliance Industries Limited. And I had the leverage to work in different domains. I started with the Reliance Life Sciences, and then I moved on to the philanthropic vertical of Reliance Foundation, that is called BEAD program. I had a stint there for 3 or 4 years. That was a philanthropic initiative in which we are working in some of the BRGF districts which have very low human development indicators. I worked in the tribal district of Banswara in Rajasthan, and I got to learn so many things while working on the grassroots. Post that, I had a small stint in the Jio Kisan initiative, in which I was contributing to the content of that app of Jio Kisan, in which we contributed to develop the POP package of practices of various crops in the India. And post that, I am now associated with one of the very unique projects of Reliance Foundation, the CBM CSR project. It is the true out of fence project of any organization, and it is a model of what you call industry village interface, which is widely accolated in the nation and abroad also. This project entails what a true CSR should be look like. It is a project in which our well site, from where we extract the coal-based methane, their gas, those are in the wells, those are in the villages, spread over 150 villages of the Shahdol, Kotma, and Anuppur districts of Madhya Pradesh. And these 150 villages are totally impacted by the project. And there was a condition 5 years back when the community and industry were at loggerheads. But the CSR team had done a wonderful job here, and now there is a very cordial relation between industry and community. And
Great stuff.
we have,
Yeah,
we have been
it's
working
great
on
to
the
know. Great to know you're working on great projects.
yeah.
So we will move on to the next panelist.
Okay.
We have Sabda sir. Sabda sir. So we have a very high time constraint. So if you would like to please be brief in a minute or two, like what are the projects you're working on, and what you're doing currently in the organization, in the Piramal Foundation.
Sure, Akash. Sure. So I understand the time constraint. So I just like to thank you everyone for inviting me for this. So it's immense pleasure for me to be here. To be very precise on the kind of work I'm doing, so starting with the organization. So Piramal Foundation pioneers in youth fellowship program named as Gandhi Fellowship. We are running this fellowship since last 12 years. And if I will say what kind of work we do, we work in the school education reforms, we work for better health practices across communities, leadership development, and water conservations across multiple states of the country. Right now, I'm leading MP state for education reform project called Sathi, which is sponsored by the Niti Aayog. It was a 3-year program, so now it's been again extended for 2 more years. So this is a brief about me and the kind of project what I'm doing right now. Yeah, thank you.
Great, sir. It's great to hear that this project. So, sub, we have next Sahar with us.
Akash, cannot
Hello,
hear you
everyone.
properly.
Yes, Akash. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, whoever speaking is, you're audible.
Sure, Akash. I will be starting it. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks to Abhivakti and team. Thanks to Karthik ji for having us as a panelist for the speakers this time for CSR opportunities. So I will be briefing about what is SBI Foundation. So it is registered under Societies Act and it started back in 2015. SBI was doing CSR from since long the Act of CSR was enacted. To formalize it, we have subsidiaries, they have their own CSR bodies, and still SBI felt a need to regularize the CSR initiatives and the ground reach. So they made the SBI Foundation in 2015. To brief about my projects, I am working in SBI Gram Seva, which is an integrated rural development project, and it covers all the 17 SDGs as of now. And it works on digitalization, rural development, women empowerment, wash and sanitation, providing healthcare services, and youth development. As well as we work with the convergence of various schemes with the government departments under this program. In SBI Foundation, we have three flagship programs. One is SBI Youth for India Fellowship Program. It is a 13 months fellowship program, and it is been pan-India implemented. And till date, we have 100 fellows been trained, been impacted on the ground, and they are working with the other organizations and with their own startups. We have another flagship programs which is called Center of Excellence (PWD), which is basically was formulated to train the bankers who are from the PWD sections as well as the counterparts in the other corporates as well as other banks. So we enable them, we train them. We have SOPs for this flagship program, and that is truly been followed up strictly. Apart from flagship programs, we have 20 plus independent projects which are working on livelihood development, skill development, women empowerment. As I said, there are others also, environment specifically and health. Apart from the SBI Gram Seva, I'm handling two more projects. One is SBI Mobile Medical Van Unit, which is called SBI Sanjeevani. We are flagshipping it across 11 states, as well as we have also implemented SBI COVID care centers during the pandemic situation. And we have, till date, we have 5 COVID care centers in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, in Uttarakhand, and in Assam. So that's a brief about me. So thank you, Akash. You can proceed, please.
Yeah, great, Sahara. It's like your projects are very interesting, and I think it's great after Odisha when company in Odisha you're doing creating the stuff, SBI also, and it was listing
Akash, you are
all
not audible.
of panelists. I think it's a very dense.
Akash, your voice is breaking, I guess. Hello.
Hi, Akash, can you please repeat?
I'll join back. I'll join. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Sorry for that interruption. Actually, there's a network issue here. So yeah, we are done with the introduction of our panelists, like what they're working on and what are their projects currently. So I would like to, the next question we would like to know from our panelists, like what has been the scope for learning and the scope for creating the impact and the growth while working the scope for growth. So what was your experience while working in these CSRs in these areas? Like what were the learning impact and your growth, the work around the work growth? So Abhinav sir, yeah, you can start.
Thank you, Akash. So, as you're talking about this opportunity and experience and my learning experience, you're talking about, and the growth, especially I'm talking about growth, if you're talking. So, uh, in SCL, if I'm talking about, as per my opinion, in SCL, if, there is a lot of scope, if you're talking about. So, scope in terms of there is scope in because we are working not only in a rural area, as well as we are also working in urban area. We are also covering in urban area, and apart from that, HCL is working in all these sectors. All sector we are covering. I'm talking about holistic development, which we can I can say the holistic. We are working on over holistic development, where we are covering each and every sector: agriculture, livelihood, and education, health, water and sanitation, infrastructure. Each and every sector we are covering. And if you are talking about in a growth, especially in the CSR sector in current scenario, and I think this is one of the best sector for all the development professionals, where they can not only learn, even they can even they can whatever ideas they can implement. It's a very effective for each and everyone. For myself, I have introduced so many things. Even I have seen so many freshers, those who had joined in SCL and came with lot of new ideas, which came lot of ideas, and that through that their ideas they have implemented, and and that was uh, the very good opportunities for all of us, those who are experienced professional in in our sector, because there are so many ideas which I have seen in my so I think this is one of the best this is a best place
Great.
where you can learn, and you can not
Yeah.
only professionally and personally you can learn many things.
Same time create impact. So great, sir. So Pradeep, sir, what is your take on this question? Like, what is your learning and what is you felt that there is a scope in CSR about learning, impact, and the growth?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, I learned a lot by being in the Reliance Limited and Reliance Foundation particularly. I was observed as a young development professional 10 years back, 2000 in 2012 from uh, 2012 from NIRD campus selection only. And in that 1 year journey was marvelous. Means I cannot forget those days in which I was exposed to various development dimensions of the country, starting from extreme north to down south, and from west to east. And I was attached to so many institutions of repute in the country, and that was a very learningful phase. And Reliance Foundation gives me leverage to explore things and innovate. That is that is the best thing I could get. I have been attached to 4 different projects in this journey of mine in Reliance Foundation, and still I am able to innovate and learn many things. Now I am MEL head in the CBM CSR location, monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So that learningful journey is coming to much assistance, as I am also able to groom the next generation of young professionals from my organization. And I have learned some very important dimensions of development which are very new to the country. For example, SRY. I practiced the first SRO study in one of the remote locations in Agar district of Madhya Pradesh in Kasai area village. That village is very very underprivileged village you may call. And after our intervention for 5 or 6 years, that village is on the development forefront. And after SRO studies, we got a ranking of more than 2, which is very good SRO ranking. And that was also validated by a third-party agency, KPMG, which also studied and it found that we have done some very good work. So we learn, we practice, and we pilot, and then we replicate it.
Yeah.
The which is very good.
There's a lot of scope for learning and innovating and putting your idea front. There's nothing like only what your seniors say you do. You have idea, you pitch in, and you get it.
Yes. That leverage I got.
Yeah.
Much, and
I think that's the good thing about CSR, that they're open to ideas.
Yeah.
More.
And more that Reliance Industries pay and perks is the best in the industry, the country. So that is another thing, and this is the emolument, the learning phase. I get it is.
Yeah. Great, sir. Yeah, I think it was a great answer. Okay, sir. Sabda, sir, can we hear what your perspective about it?
So actually, Akash, it's a very interesting question. What are the scope of learning and all this impact? So I read it like this: like this is CSR is a new sector in this country, in India. So there are still, there are many milestones to be achieved yet. So the option of learning and growth are immense in this. All, if you say, I could say it right from designing projects, implementing technology. We are hearing from Abhinavji and Pradeepji the M&E part, the research, and there are multiple things into this CSR. So yeah, so there are scope is high. What I believe that the people here in this industry need to be, need to be more focused. I should say this, stable and more of outcome oriented. So that need to be still developing as a professionals in this sector. So and opportunities are immense for all, for high-end professionals, for freshers, semi-skilled, skilled technocrats, you name it. This sector have it, kind of scope is there. So one need to identify his or her own spike, what exactly they want to contribute to the society, and then the opportunities are immense. Every organization, we are hearing from Abhinavji about HCL. We are hearing from Pradeepji about Reliance. I'm working with Piramal Foundation. I work with ICI. So all the organizations are still innovating. They are open for the innovations, open for the new challenges, open for the new kind of work to be incorporated in their whole roadmaps. So yeah, so my experience is very, very rich. I really like to hear from others also. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So Sahara.
Yes, Akash. So as the three panelists have said, much of the things, and Savdaji has already concise the things that what I've experienced he has. I want to add a little bit here. This being a fresher, like it's only been 8 months in SBI Foundation for me, and I'm at a junior management level. So it's an entry point for a CSR for me as a young professional in OLM, and then coming here to SBI Foundation. So for me, if I perceive CSR and my role in CSR, it will be like I am a jack of trade till date. Okay. So he called development professionals as a jack of trade, masters of none in the starting days. So it is like we are having that jack of trade is prominent here in CSR because you are open to the mastery of any of the sectors you want to do. So for me, starting from livelihood and skill development, and now I am handling 17 SDGs impacting projects and learning infrastructure, because for me, I'm being in agriculture background, I don't have any keen or any strategic mastery of how to implement infrastructure development programs. Then there are core livelihood things which I make it impactful in the first go. And at the same time, there is a peer learning from different individual and flagship program teams. You get a chance, you get a rich experience of dealing with NGOs, corporate partners, other technical agencies. They give inputs. You learn from the other cross-learning organizations, as well as you go for impact studies in the ground, because in SBI Foundation, we have only one corporate center, or our office is headquartered, and we don't have any implementing regional offices of SBI Foundation till date, because it's only been 6 years.
Yeah.
So for us who have come from the implementing background to the managing background, documenting, evaluation, it is a kind of mixture of both the things, if I say. And the scope of growth, if I say, it's always open. It doesn't have any horizon. You just go and there's no end of it. And there is obviously a diverse, if I say, there is a diverse options of
Yeah.
growth in anything.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think 2-3 things I really got from your what you said is that as a development worker, initially we have to be jack of all the trade and still master of none, and we figure out like what we need to master and later. And also there is no limit to growth, like it just limit is the sky. And you get, and I think one more thing by CSR, there's a lot learning scope because they don't work in silos, they work a lot in collaborations with people, with a lot of organization, a lot of places. So I think you get to learn from different perspectives. So that was my take from what you all told me. So we'll move on to the next question. So the third question talk about the opportunities in CSR, like for experience and for the freshers, in what thematic areas and in different thematic area, what roles in what work culture, like what is the opportunity in CSRs for the fresher and experience? Like if someone in maybe working in government from last 6 years, what new we getting pressure also from a C, what is the benefit of that? So Abhinav sir, you can write on it.
Yes, there are a lot of you're talking about this opportunities for freshers, and as we also have talked about in current in especially if I'm talking about in India, after having this Section 135 Company Act, after Company Act. So this now it has become a very if you can say, it's a very all the companies, those who have 5 years, 5 crore turnover, yearly turnover 5 crore minimum, so they should have a like this CSR. They should be follow CSR law and act. So, and India, since India is growing and so many companies are coming, and there are a lot of companies are coming being as a, so now gradually the lot of opportunities will come for the freshers, especially for freshers. If I'm talking about if I'm seeing a lot of organization, if you especially in CSR, there are most of the opportunities are coming for 2 years experience, freshers. But for this experience, there are very limited positions are available for more than, if you have a more than 8 to 10 years of experience, then you have a very limited opportunities. But I think for experienced people like all of us, since new CSR companies are coming, there are a lot of CSR companies are required. The experienced people, those who can implement their program, they have a program in effective way, effective manner, because of not only to implementation, there is a lot of work is there. Lot of work, if I'm talking about time and this people management, you have a partnership management, you have a government licensing, you have a lot of things you have which you have to take care. For that, you have to have a lot of experience, prior experience, so then you can if you have a, just for example, Akash, you talk about if the people have a lot of government experience, government sector, if the person is coming from government sector experience, so he can play a very very effective role in terms of to liaising with the government, which is a very important part for the CSR companies. For example, if you're talking about SCL, which I am looking for from from last 5 to 6 5 years, from last 5 years, there are the government the person who is taking care of this government licensing. That is a very key role of there, because you have to coordinate with the chief secretary, principal secretary, and all these state level and district level government authorities to implement your program, because without their coordination you cannot implement the program, and you cannot go in the village itself where you wanted to implement your program.
Yeah, in
Right.
that way, yeah, I think government experience bring that thing in you to handle the bureaucrats, to understand how the government function and how to get their
Exactly. And for the and other professionals, I'm talking, if you have freshers, there are a lot of opportunities. For example, Piramal Foundation is talking about, there's a lot of scope in the Piramal Foundation, a lot of manpower they have requirement. In SCL, we have a lot of, right now, in a one block, we are working in a one district, we are working 450 employees are there. In only one district and only 11 blocks. So, and gradually we are expanding in an expansion mode, and we are expanding other states as well. So, and in opportunities, but there are limited opportunities for the experience, as I talked about that. But also, since companies are coming, so for our people, we also will get a lot of opportunities coming scenario. Yeah.
Okay. Great, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Pradeep, sir, what you will say about this, like opportunities in CSR for experience and a fresher person?
Yeah, the opportunities will be immense in the coming years after this legislation in which the CSR has been mandated by the government of India. India is the only country, as you are saying, that which has mandated this CSR expense, and over 16,000 companies in India, as per a rough estimate, there were, and the leverage amount is over 22,000 crores, which is a huge budget. So there is no dearth of job. The only concern is the CSR unit, they are willing to contribute to the business. The business should not suffer. That's why this CSR came into function. Many of the business units are understanding this in that context. But the freshers and the experienced one, they have to see the big picture. Means in the long run, the CSR work has to be integrated with business. Means business sustainability and CSR has to go hand in hand, which has been practiced by other countries, because that attracts investors, that retains the talent. So this big picture has to be kept in mind. The freshers, as such, the CSR units don't engage, they don't try to engage freshers. They want some developed, already experienced professionals. Like in Reliance, we hire in our units those who have 2 or 3 years of experience, so that we don't have to train them when they come to our unit. So, so if a person is not experienced, they have to search for those companies or those NGOs which are directly closely working with these organizations, these corporates, so that they have the knowledge of how that CSR role is functioning in their organizations. Based on that, they can get opportunities. But yes, we have always if we have entrepreneurial mindset, we have innovative acumen, and we are searching for things, then we definitely have opportunities. And this is evolving sector. In the next few years, it is definitely going to give a boom to the job market in the country.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sabdat, sir.
So I just like to echo what Abhinavji and Pradeepji have said. So I would also like to start from where Sahara ended, that we all started as jack of all. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is, yes, this, as I also said, that this is a sector which is emerging in India. So, and one have to identify his or her own spike. What kind of contribution, what kind of bend I have. If I have a research bent, so I should go into research. If I have a some technological bent, so how I could contribute to the CSR. So opportunities are immense for everyone, I believe. So there is no crunch of jobs in this sector as of now, because all the organizations are investing a lot in their CSR. As it is really going to attract brands, and the kind of brand value being created through these CSRs is again a different side of the CSR. So, I don't know what to add into this, but yes, the jobs are immense, the opportunities are immense, their learning is huge in this sector, and we have to be, well, as a professional from at least from NIRD, we have to understand that the stability in this sector is being required. So because if you see, there are people who change job every year. They will get job for next 5 years, but after 5 years they find it's really hard to get any jobs, because once there is no stability in your career progression, then you will not able to contribute to the society, you are not able to contribute to your own career progression also. So we all as a professional need to be mindful that at least we should spend some 3 4 5 years in each organization, so that you could learn, you could really understand this ecosystem, you could really contribute towards the kind of activity we are into. We are into CSR, we are into rural development, we are into social development. So that should not be out of our focus, out of our minds. Yeah. So this
Yeah,
is one
great.
thing which really need to be underlined.
I think the stability we need to find instead of jumping from company to company. We should give time to the organization and contribute in patience. That's what is
Yeah.
great, sir. Great thought. Yes, Sahara. What is your take on
Yes, Akash. To
that?
add on to the
You joined it
subject, sir, and
recently.
everyone. Yes, I would like to highlight something. Let me change the focus of this discussion in the perspective of a fresher. Okay, we have participants from the fresher. They want to know that what are the things an organization wants and what are the situation that is created in organization that leads to a recruitment. Okay, first we have to understand whatever sector you want to apply in a CSR. You have to first focus on know the organization profile, the organogram of an organization, that what are the levels of human resource they need. There are like lower management, there's a middle management, there is senior management, there is a top management. So you should focus yourself where you have the best chance of absorption. Suppose with an experience of 1.5 years to 2, you have an absorption of associate or assistant manager. But if you have a fellowship, prior fellowship you have done, that makes an added advantage. You can be absorbed as a manager, which is the top layer of the junior management. And for those who are what I have seen, that who have experience of 5 and more, they have fair enough chances, and the chances gets increasing if they have a particular domain of expertise. Suppose they have delivered the mobile medical van unit across the India, pan India, successfully in the previous organization. So they may have chances that if any flagship programs is there present in the applied organization, they will be absorbed as the coordinator of a manager. The other thing I would like to highlight is that in case of SBI Foundation, we have a flagship program of fellowship, Youth for India. So there are fair enough chances that the fellows are being absorbed in the same program where they have been part of as a fellow. So after experience of with NGO partner, they are getting absorbed in the SBI Foundation, because organization sees that they have nurtured the fellows, they have spent so much, and they have the expertise. Why not we are not taking it? And how can we expect that to be taken or absorbed in the other organization after fellowship? So every organization have their fellowship, every organization have their management training programs. So they seek for that. And obviously there are organizations who go for campus placement or management trainee and trainees. So that is one thing. And the other thing I would like to highlight, that what Akash initiated, that the government, what is the credibility of experience in government. So I will request that whoever being an YP, I will request at least you spend in the ground, if possible, in the block management unit or district management unit, at least 1 year, that you get an engagement experience with the government, the schemes, you get engagement experience with the collectors, the district collectors, the ground staff, the SHG DDs, if I say. So this grassroots experience is very rich and can't be replaced by anywhere in the CSR, because after coming to CSR, it is always going up. Either you partner with another NGO after CSR, or you go for another CSR, or maybe the consultancy firm, but you don't come back to the basics. So that will be an enriching experience which one should not skip in his early professional career times. Yeah, that I will sum up here. Yes.
I think a very important
Akash,
suggestion by you for the freshers, that we should spend some time in the ground and in the roots of the country, so that we understand, because I think that was the time when you learn the most, and when you reach on the top management, you bring those experiences in your work, in your suggestions, in your thinking. I think one should spend enough time in the ground. So that I think that these three questions were very interesting. We went to answered in depth, all of you. So next three questions, I would like to go very specific and very rapid, because this will give us very focused answers. So, for example, the next question we are going for is the skill sets which you think one need to stay in CSR and grow in a CSR organization. And I would like to say, like, you can mention 2 or 3 skill sets which you think are most important to be in a CSR. So yeah, Abhinav, so you can begin with the 2 or 3 specific skill set which you think you have felt over years. One person who is joining a CSR should have to deliver best and to grow. Yeah, Abhinav.
So, thank you, Akash. So there are 2, 3. I would say for freshers, if we're talking about for fresher, I would say this what you call, they should have a good communication skill, which is a very important. Good writing skill the freshers should have, because when you enter in the CSR companies, you will get a lot of opportunities to write case studies and other things, right? So there is a very important part of, if you have a very good command over in MS Office, especially in Excel, then that is a very important part. But I'm talking about this is for freshers. But if you go for 2-3 years experience person, then these basics requirement which is required for freshers, that is very important. Apart from that, you should have some technical knowledge. I'm talking about like this which is a very important in CSR, which I'm also feeling that I should have a proper understanding about that. Then I have started thinking on that, because in the CSR you will get a lot of opportunities in different assignments you will get, not only in specific that if you are engaged in skill development or if you are working in agriculture program, then it's not required. Then you will every year you will get in agriculture work, agriculture kind of project to implementation. For the implementation I'm talking about, you will get, apart from that, you will get a lot of things, like you have to backend, you have a lot of work in terms of analysis, in terms of project reporting, project writing, all these things. So the experienced people should have an analytical experience, and he or she should have what you call, some like Python or a good command in Excel.
Data analytics.
All the basic
understanding of data.
Exactly. Yeah, data science I'm talking about. Not data science is a very big. I'm talking about.
Data science is very deep. Yeah, data analytics or understanding at least how.
But in now it has become a very important part now. in a development sector, especially in CSR, which I'm looking now. I have started if I'm talking about myself, then I also started enrolling myself, and I'm also there is my M&E team is there, which I'm leading with M&E team. So I also already have requested my director to we should have some kind of good skill set in terms of monitoring, evaluation, and all these things. So it's a very these are the very important parts.
Great.
Talking about freshers and experience both.
I think that is you mentioned writing, communication, writing, and technical aspect of the things. Now
Exactly.
the technical aspects also coming in the development. So Pradeep sir,
Yes.
can you tell us what you think the three most
I'm
important
sorry, there
skills
is some
which
video
one need in a
in my
CSR?
mobile. That's why I have this video is not opening actually.
I will say that there are three important skills.
Pradeep sir can continue. Abhinav sir, we have got your point. Like communication, writing, and the analytics.
Yes, the people have to have business skills. They have to have people management skills, and they have to have some technical skills, like you said, that data analytics part, the IT part, and different things. Besides this, they have to have development perspective. They should have good communication skills. They should have a general awareness about the society, what is going on in the government, the various schemes. They have to understand the United Nations Development Program, but all these can be categorized to these three skills: that the business skill, the human management skill, and the technical skill.
People skill and the technical skill. Great answers. Thank you, sir. Sabda sir, what is your take about it?
I don't know what
are the three most important.
These are all been covered. So I guess so. Communication skill is one thing. So facilitation is the other, which should be there. Adaptability is one thing which every development professional should have, because we work with diverse people, diverse environment, diverse cultures, diverse projects also. So adaptability is one major thing.
I think
sorry.
Adaptability is important. And I was thinking curiosity, I think. I think
so.
New about the new places.
So other than this is I believe the stakeholder management is one thing which really matters, because the kind of work we do is more of collaboration, irrespective of private partnerships, people partnerships within the organization, outside organization, governments, state governments, central governments. So this partnerships need to be handled very, very carefully. So that skill, as someone said, that working with the district and the block officer during your initial days will really let you learn a lot of things. So one have to be very, very mindful. One have to be very, very cautious about these things. So when we are dealing with the government, because we are not going against the government or intersecting their programs, we are working parallelly with the governments. So we as a CSR professionals, we as a development professionals need to understand this. Collaboration is one skill which we have to have it, else our growth is a bit slow. Then I should say this.
Thank you so much, Sahara.
Yes, I think everyone has some of there is nothing left for me. Let me fill in the gaps of what everyone said. With Sabda sir, I will say that one, communication, he mentioned that. So in development sector, you have to showcase also what your organization has been doing in a bigger platforms in an impactful manner, because CSR is a mandate. We should never forget that. So that's the basic. It is a mandate, and obviously the company, the corporate wants it to be a big fame in the sector also, apart from what his subsidiary is doing. So this is also a kind of company for them, where it's a goodwill company, if I say. So you have to be very good in the communication, as well as documentation, as well as media. If you have media coverage and media interactions and everything, you have to showcase well. Apart from that, so there are three stages and 3 stages of interaction for any CSR. First, if I start, it's a people, for whom the target people. So you should have a good if I say excellent participatory role appraisal skills, which is the common for any development sector profession in the starting initial days, you have to master it very well. So any project you are going to be implementing, you are going to be developing, it is through participatory role appraisal, keeping in mind. The second one is obviously the collaboration, partnerships, and this thing. But as I said, it also requires data analytics. The projects, the impact should be data-driven approach, apart from the participatory role appraisal. And then the policy reform is also integrated to the same data-driven analysis.
Okay.
And then, yes, you have to be very excellent in collaborating, event management. You have to make sure that the project starts, ends in a proper way of channel, in the proper way of collaboration with the entities you are partnering with. And impact study, one has
I
to
think very,
excel and
very well.
Yes, another Akash. The thing is that the impact study is what which is developing day by day. It is evolving. So we can't give a particular limit to the impact study, and that has to be honored, skilled day by day, and that is a regular one. So yeah, that will be it.
I think with the recent amendments also, Sahara, I think government also focuses on driving the impact instead of just doing just the CSR, doing just the instead they want the impact. There are a lot of policies and things, tools coming up to measure the impact. I think CSR also want to know what. I think that was a great answer. So for the next question, we are hello, Vinay sir.
Yeah, what I'm saying, it has become a very important part for the CSR Act. From the government side, you have a midterm evaluation. You should have a you should have a all these things, which is in terms of, if we are talking about like international rating, because when you establish a CSR company, you started CSR. So any company, the company is working in a multinational company I'm talking about, especially in the companies, though I'm talking about ESG, which I was earlier starting I explained that ESG. So that has been a very important part, become a very important part. Each and every company is looking for their ratings, because on the basis of rating, of the international rating, especially in ESG rating, they get the chances, they get the project, they get the international level recognition. So in terms of international market, right? So basis on that, they get a lot of fundings as well, right? So that was the reason. They also have, the people should have the understanding about the ESG. What is ESG? I think even if I'm talking about myself, then when I started,
mostly it's about communicating.
Right.
Yeah, mostly it's about communication. You properly putting your thing, what you're doing, so you can drive more of the resources into you, and you can do more. So I think that was the major skill set which everyone need to have, that you need to understand your work and present it perfectly. So we'll move on to the next question. What you think? So this question is for Abhinav sir and the Pradeep sir. So what do you think are the major challenges, one or two, you can specify the one or two major challenges which you think has pushed you to the edges and bring out something new into you, the challenges you have faced in your work, in your experience, one or two challenges out of all the experiences you have. Yeah, Abhinav sir.
Akash, the challenges is a very, very, like, what do you call, very, I would not sure whether this is because there are a lot of challenges, I think, if I'm talking about that, because each and every CSR companies are working in a different way. Some of the CSR companies are directly implementing the program, like Reliance, like SPL, like Pineapple Foundation, Tata, right? So these few are the companies that CSR companies are implementing directly. Not only directly, even also they are implementing their program with the support from the stakeholders. They have a lot of stakeholders like NGOs, other implementing companies, right? So, but most of the, if you're talking about numbers of the most of the companies, they are not directly implementing the program. So what is happening, since they are not directly implementing the program, therefore the program which they are implementing with the support from some other NGOs and other companies, they are not taking seriously. Frankly, I'm saying, because I have seen a lot of companies, those who are implementing with the support from NGOs and all, but the implementation part is not up to the mark. I'm not saying poor, but that is not up to the mark as as per the compared to the money which they are spending for the rural or urban people, right? For the betterment of the rural.
You're saying that because it's mandatory, you need, like, they are doing just because it's mandatory, like they're not putting their heart.
मेरे को 5 रुपए खर्च करने हैं, कैसे भी खर्च हो जाए, that was
मुझे कैसे भी खर्च करने हैं बस.
मुझे कैसे भी खर्च करने हैं भाई, कुछ भी खर्च करके खर्च कर दो. That is the one part. So now second part is, if you're talking about the companies, those who are implementing directly program, they are also since they don't have challenges in terms of, they don't have a kind of good team. I'm talking about most of the people, they came from their corporate background, and they have started spending money and all that, everything with the any, like, what I would say in terms of proper planning, I'm talking about. Still the CSR companies, those who have, I'm not talking about Tata and other companies, those already have been established and they are working from last 30 to 40 years, from last 30 to 40 years in a CSR. But there are many companies, the implementation part is not as it's like up to the mark. So this is one two important parts.
Okay.
So that, yeah.
Okay, sir. So can we? Can you, Pradeep sir, Pradeep sir, what is your challenge? What you have faced? What you have faced, like, during your experience? What was the most major challenge you have faced, like, working in the CSR? You have felt that this is a CSR because this. I'm facing this challenge because this is a CSR. Something like that.
Yeah, I can understand your question. Two things are very important. The challenges, I must say. The first one is demand-driven approach of the stakeholders, means the government as well as community. They take CSR for granted. For example, Reliance is there; they have so much fund, so they can give us anything as per our demand. So we get these demands, and it becomes very, very difficult for us to make them aware that we have a mandate, we are spending on this vertical, and we are not going to meet every of your demand, any of your demand based on your personal whims and fancies. And the second one is the framework of impact, which is not being made now by the companies as per the big picture. The big picture is the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We have to contribute something towards that. So the planning is haphazard at most of the times. For example, if something comes from the government, if something comes from the district collector, we have to meet that first. And then because we have to also run the industry, and we have to keep them in good humor. So we have to meet their demands, we have to meet the demand of the government, and that impacts our framework, what we have planned. At the start of the year, we make an annual work plan based on the outputs and outcomes we envision in the future. And that is all part of the Sustainable Development Goals. We are trying to contribute to that. But these demands and this type of what we call demands from the community, government, and other stakeholders keeps those off track. What we are planning and what we are envisioning. So these are the two important challenges which face in implementation. And the third important thing is which is very big challenge, and it is a challenge for all of us, and we have to think and act towards it, is that the hiring on the top level, at the strategic level in the organizations, is increasingly being done based on the what you call relationship of the top leadership of the organizations. I'm seeing this in many organizations. For example, if I am a hotshot top management professional in some company, and I have a wife who is qualified, so I will want her to get hired in the CSR role, and she will be making strategies which are not what you call in concurrent with the ground reality. Means they have not, they don't have any work experience in this domain, and they are planning, and we are implementing those things. So this has to be reversed and this is increasingly the trend. Means if I have a good relationship, then I will be in the top management, and if I don't have a godfather in the organization, then I will keep contributing in the low management level or the mid management level at most.
Yeah.
So that is
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for this insights. I think it was very true from my experience also. I felt the same what you are saying. So for the next question I have is like, what are the pros of working in the CSR? And that I will ask to Sabda sir and Sahara. Like, Sabda sir, please, can you tell me what are the 2 or 3 pros or the benefits you felt ki हाँ यार CSR में है तो this is something I feel good about.
Okay. So pros बहुत से हैं. मैं कहूँ तो first is if you have a passion towards development sector, so then you have lot of pros, lot of benefits, and lot of satisfaction in this sector. Because we work with the people, we work for human capital development. Actually, if you like to see any kind of work, if we are working for livelihood, for education, for anything, for water conservation, for any kind of project, we all are working with the humans. We are working for the humans. So so this is the first, I should say, pro, that you can really connect with people, you can really do something for the society, giving back to the society. So this is the biggest pro.
I think one thing what everyone would like to know, sir, is financially, what do you think? Is it a pro in the CSR financial side, like remuneration or what you get paid?
Yes. So if you have excellence, you have dedication, you have your resilience towards delivery, you will get money. So there is no lack of money in this sector. There might be chances that you will not get it right now because of some reasons, like someone said that कोई टॉप मैनेजमेंट में आ जाता है, वो अपना प्लान लगाता है, वो एक रीजन होता है. कभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की पॉलिसीज होते हैं, कभी कोई और सर्कमस्टांसेस होते हैं. योर एक्सपीरियंस आल्सो मैटर्स. But yes, I really like to highlight that there is no lack of money in this sector. There are big philanthropical, big CSR people in this industry that who pay you very well. So it all depends on your caliber. So there is no limit of what you can get it. And just one more sentence.
I can understand.
Yeah. So one just last sentence from mine. For the last question, what you were asking, that what kind of challenges we have. So the biggest challenge in this sector is the people capacity, people's capability of doing things, because we have people from diverse background, from diverse locations, from diverse things, education qualifications also. So getting on a platform, delivering for the same goal with the same kind of passion and same kind of motivation is really difficult. So, yeah, so just want to add to this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Sahara?
Yes.
Sahara, you can tell one pro or one challenge which you have felt, and I'll request you to be very precise. So because we have already
pros, if I talk about pros, if I say, as I said earlier, also you get a huge canvas of whatever you want to paint. Okay, So there are many projects, many flagship projects, many other projects. So they give you a platform where you can expand yourself, irrespective of what the past experience you have, and the past key area you wanted to work with. So it is up to you. So this is one of the pros, the major pros here, and you get a free hand of delivering and developing any.
Hello, Sahara.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, Sahara, you can put your answer in the perspective of Odisha. Like you worked in Odisha, and that is a government thing, and it is a CSR. So in that perspective, what you feel the challenge is?
Yes, yes.
What was your major challenge in Odisha, and what was your major challenge in this?
That will be very precise, helpful for me. Thank you, Akash. Let me put like that. Starting from that, we have a financial limit in CSR for any project sanction. It is a financial limit. You have to expense it within the limit. You can unspend it, but you cannot overspend it. So that makes you very precise, very calculative, and makes you go forward for zero budget interventions. Not zero in a sense of financially zero, but in the sense of where is the minimal cost and maximum delivery. So that is the first skill that you get developed, you get incorporated in yourself being in CSR, and they're the best pros in the CSR. So as we say, it is a bridge gapping. Like there is a gap, there is a need of government organization, NGO organizations, CBOs that are not been fulfilled. CSR aims for that, finds it, and fills in the gap. So, in perspective of Odisha, we are going to work with Gram Seva NGO under SBI Gram Seva with Gram Vikas NGO in the Kalahandi district, and it is a totally backward district where there is no network, and being in CSR, we are implementing a digitalization there. So this is a challenge, but yes, we have various ways to incorporate it. There may be restrictions for government, for other CSOs, not to incorporate digitalization, but yes, we can, since it is a project sanction and we have to develop in a holistical way of rural development. So we will find a way. So there is always a hope in CSR to create and to bridge the gap. Yes, that will be one pro, and I will like to add one of the cons, as Pradeep sir mentioned, is that top management, yes, it rules. Top management rules the policies which is governed and already been laid out by the previous management. So there are certain clauses which gives them free hand to choose to incorporate many things and to suggest, to refer. And in banking CSRs, one of the flaws is that we have bankers in probation periods for 2 years or 3 years, leading a individual project, leading a coordinating a flagship projects with minimal level of experience of what CSR is, what social responsibility and what development is. And that becomes a gruesome for the development sector practitioners who are at the lower management, middle management level to convince them. So because we have to invest a lot of to convince them, instead implementing, strategizing something for the need of the people which are going to serve at the end mile. So that is the one of the
it's like seeing a problem from two different lenses.
Yes.
Banker
you have
and
to coordinate. You have to coordinate between the parallel lines, and you have to make them. You have to make them at intersect at some point of horizon. You have to make them intersect. Yes. So that is
thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for very insightful challenges you have mentioned, and thank you all the panelists for all the answers and all the insights you have given from your experiences. And it was very enriching to talk to all of you. And now it's time to take questions from the audience. Any questions? So if we have any question from our chat, they can come forward and ask. Or you can put that in chat.
One thing I would like to add, Akash, if time permits.
Yes, sir.
Actually,
yes,
actually, now our competitors are not only from the development sector, means not only IRMIANs or not only NIDians, but our competitors are from IIMs, IIT. They are also very much interested in this sector. So we have to be versatile, we have to be entrepreneurial, and we have to be innovative. We have to compete with them also. So to get a job or to get what we call any placement or anything, so we have to be always at a competitive edge, and we have to keep learning, we have to keep developing ourselves. And it's actually interesting also, because we have to develop to fight in this challenging times. So our learning curve has to be always there. We have to be in the learning curve for the eternity, I think, till our professional life. I hope everybody agrees with.
That's a very important thing. A lifelong learner. That's what we have to be.
I'm totally agree with Pradeep. As he was saying, or that is very important, because not only Indian institutions like IIM and others. Apart from that, foreign countries like foreign universities like Harvard and other universities,
Yes,
students are coming.
yes.
Right. So we have a lot of challenges. So we have to be our eyes should be should be open. कि हम समझ लिए कि मैं CSR में आ गया तो मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है. Like CSR is kind of like government job kind of somehow, right? So you will have a lot of money, you have to only spend. You need not worry. But there are some changes. We have to be very we have to be updated. That is a very important.
Yeah. So I have this one question from the chat, like how to get job in CSR. It is a very direct question. Any one of you can answer, like how to get a job in CSR. I'm working somewhere and I want a job in CSR. Okay, whatever the talk is, how I initiate, what are the steps?
So I would give this answer. That as per my experience, I would like to give this answer. As per my experience, for my juniors, which I'm talking about, there is a two way to enter in the this CSR company, CSR firms. So one is a referral basis, which is a very effective way to enter in the CSR firms. And second one is there are a lot of openings are coming. Through that opening, you can apply and you can get a chance. And that is opening. We have to also think. For example, if I'm talking about an SCL, there are in SCL has two kind of department. That is, one is urban and one is a rural. And right now I'm working in the rural areas. So rural SCL, that Samudaya. So in SCL Samudaya, the team is very big team. One of the largest teams appointed by SCL Foundation. There's a 450 employees are there. Whereas in urban team, there is only 20-25 people are there. So who taking care of across India the projects on urban areas, looking after urban areas. So for urban team, if you are applying for the urban team, there are a lot of SCL Foundation openings are coming. So then there is a specific skill sets are required. That is, a writing skill you should have a very good. You should have a very good writing skill. You should have a very good communication skill. You should have a very other skills is a very important required, because जब वो लोग कोई भी वैकेंसी निकालते हैं तो उसके लिए वो एक राइटअप जरूर लिखने के लिए बोलते हैं. एंड वो भी राइटअप ऐसा कि आपको एक सिचुएशन काइंड ऑफ आपको एक एनालिसिस के लिए देते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल मैं एक आपको बताता हूँ कि आप एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट आपको दी जाती है, उस डिस्ट्रिक्ट का आप पूरी प्लानिंग आप बताइए डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर के साथ मिलकर के कैसे आप बनाएंगे. देन यू हैव टू बी develop all these planning, execution, and management. Everything you have to be done in that reports. तो एक वो हो गया. दूसरा जो है जो रेफरल की मैंने बात की, तो रेफरल में जैसे जो भी आप सीनियर हैं या जूनियर है या आपके कलीग्स हैं, आपके बैचमेट्स हैं, और उसके थ्रू आप जो कि आपका आप उसके थ्रू जा सकते हैं। देयर अभी तो इतने दो जो हैं, ये आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन, प्राइवेट सीएसआर कंपनी।
Okay,
बट
sir.
वेयर
Okay,
एज
sir.
इन
Great, sir.
गवर्नमेंट की जो सीएसआर कंपनीज है, उसके लिए जो उनकी वैकेंसीज आती है गवर्नमेंट के पास, उसमें जो पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनीज है
Management trainees.
उसमें आप अप्लाई करते हैं, राइट?
Management training. Great, great. Sabda, sir. Yes, sir.
So I will answer it differently. So, for getting a CSR job, so first you have to do your own SWOT analysis. So this is one thing which we learn, but we always miss that. So that will help any individual to understand what is your strength areas and then apply for it. Instead of applying for all the jobs in the market, instead of going for all kinds of jobs in the market, for all kinds of projects in the market, you will end up nowhere. So you understand yourself first and then go for the kind of segment you are good with it, instead of random applying to everything. So I just want to respond to that.
Yes, Akash, can I add here? Hello.
Yes, Sahara, please.
Yes, to Savdarji, I want to add this that as the practical way of doing entering the CSR, if there is a gap, what you aspire for, what sector you want to be engaged in CSR, if you are missing an experience, you can always welcome to go any fellowship program that is concerned with that, because fellowship is an important experience that anyone wants, because it's always an intergovernmental engagement. If I say Gandhi Fellowship or Primal, in Primal, you say. So these are like intergovernmental, inter CSO engagement interactions, and you get experience of that. So that is an added advantage of that. Apart from that, as I said, entering CSR SWOT analysis is must. But with the SWOT analysis, you have to learn how to quantify yourself in terms of impact. Because in CVs, in cover letters, as I saw that someone was asking what to write in cover letter. Apart from in terms of quality, you need to be very quantifying things, like so how many SSGs you have promoted, how many enterprise development, enterprise at non-farm, farm, whichever it is, we have established, we have promoted. So make it very crisp and precise, because no one going to learn, no one going to read and learn about you with the just a paragraph. You have to be very precise with that. And CSR people always go for figures. So they also show the same figures that what they have achieved during the fiscal year. So you have to make the same approach of presenting, marketing yourself to the CSR. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Sahara. Sabda, sir, we have a question for you. Like, how you manage the company responsibility and same time the government requirement, and if you're dealing in a collaboration, how you manage with the both of the expectations, both of their expectations.
Oh, so you have to marry these both the things. So governments have their high expectation always. All government, be it the level. You talk about a block level, cluster level, district, state, any levels. They have their own timelines. They have their own expectations, right? And when you work with governments, so they have their own deadlines and the quality of output they are expecting from you, because they understand their own self. And organizations have their own need. So while designing any projects, while designing any programs, you have to understand what is the need of government, what is the need of your organization, and what is the mutual point. If I will just share example, we are working in a Niti Aayog project in MP. We are implementing it for the school education reforms. So we know that we are experts. As an organization, we claim to be experts for leadership development, program designing, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, everything for it, end-to-end programs. So when we are talking to the governments, when we are identifying their needs, we try to incorporate our expertise into it, trying to extend our support to the government, that these are our areas of work. And one should understand how to say no to the government also, so which is mostly missing in the projects. because government have needs, government have demands, government have desires, all the things, and we cannot deliver everything. So yeah, so while designing any program, you have to be very, very cautious about your strength as an organization and what you're going to deliver. So this is how we are practicing since last 3 years with Madhya Pradesh government for school education reforms. We have planned for next 2 years also for this in the same context. It's a thin line, but yes, we have to understand the limits. We have to understand the deliverables, because whatever you are suggesting to the government, they are going to plan their roadmaps, their policies, their future aspirations on it. So if these are feasible, those are achievable, then it's good. Else, then there are a lot of disappointments. So we should not disappoint ourselves. We should not disappoint organizations. We should not disappoint governments, because it really ended and at a very wrong end then. So we have to understand the strengths of both, the weakness of both, and should know how to say no to the governments.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing which we face, like when working with either CSR or either government. I also face the same situation when government try to dominate. They always dominate. Like we have the resources, they try to dominate. They try to get the things the way they want, and yeah. So sometimes I also feel frustrated. Like, why they are doing it? Abhi ho jayega na? Kyun itna notanki karna? So I think that's a very weird relationship government and CSRs and just share. So thank you so much, all the panelists we have, and it was a very enriching discussion. I think the people who have joined have got.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Krishna. I had a question for Abhinav ji.
Hello. Yeah.
I had a question for Abhinav ji. I have written in the chat box. Can you ask him to answer it, please?
Yeah, Krishna. Yeah, can you ask me again, please?
Yeah, basically, you had mentioned about being updated. You had mentioned in your last statement that we need to keep ourselves updated. So, could you just elaborate on that? What we need to be updated about, and what are some of the things we need to do to be updated?
Right. Updated, I'm talking about, for example, if you are working in a livelihood sector, just example, I'm giving just an example. So in any project, for example, being you're handling any project or you are involved in any project, so then you, what is going on current scenario? Apart from that, what other, you have to also think, what are the other sectors which we can collaborate, or we can do with them, so then this program could be very most effective and meaningful, can become a very meaningful and effective. Apart from that, being as a CSR, because CSR has our own fund, and then they can also, the CSR companies can also implement the program in their own way, and also that program, maybe that program can be the replicable for other states, as well as the state government where they are working. They can suggest the state government कि भैया मैंने ये program मैंने किया हुआ है, and we have did all these from planning to execution level. We came up with some of the good ideas, so you can share it. तो उस प्रोग्राम को इम्प्लीमेंट करने में किस तरीके से हमने सारे अदर जो उसके और भी डिपार्टमेंट्स है. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन अ लाइवलीहुड, so livelihood you can work with the agriculture team and implement that program. So then you should know about what kind of facilities are, what kind of facilities and what kind of programs are available which we can implement in the with the support from a livelihood team. So all these things we should update ourselves. That's what I was talking about. That apart from that, we also have we should have update in terms of skill set, which is very important. So these are the areas which I was talking about.
Thank you so much.
I hope I have answered very well.
Yes, Bhaiya, you have answered. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Anyone else on the chat? Do you have any question? You can come forward. You can turn on your mic. Just ask. I think we are done with the questions. I again want to thank you, all the panelists. Okay.
Thanks, Akash and team.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Session.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, Akash. And Akash,
Karthik.
I wanted to say something, and it's a very good
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
from being as a from first batch. Because I'm from first batch from PGDRDM, so I'm very happy to see that there are so many people, and right now in a CSR firm, and it's a very it's like happy moment, I think so for us, especially for first batch, I would say, because when we have started first, the first being as a first batch, we started our journey in a development sector, and joined some private organizations, institutions, companies. So we were worried somewhere that whether we will get some chances, some of our juniors will get a chances in a private company, CSR companies or not. But now here I'm seeing that there are a lot of people are working in a very good organization, good institution, and very, very good, and they're handling in a very some of the challenges program. That is a very, and I will say best of luck to all of like Sabdar and Pradeep and
Now we know whom to reach when you want to know about the CS job in CSR. We have all of you. We'll reach you out, all of you. I think you're going to get a lot of calls. Here, sir, kya hai? Bataiye kuch.
right, and I think we should discuss, because we should talk each other, because in SCL what I did, मैंने सारे बहुत जितने भी CSR कंपनीज थे उनके साथ कोलैबोरेट होकर के मैंने बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव्स लिए थे. So I think this is a good because you people have a lot of because हर CSR में मैंने अपने डायरेक्टर को बोला कि मेरे पास मैं जो काम कर रहा हूँ हो सकता है वो काम मैं मेरे से अच्छा कोई दूसरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन CSR कंपनीज करे. वी शुड गो एंड डिस्कस विद देम, एंड हमें एक पार्टनरशिप करनी चाहिए. दैट should be it can be a non funding or non financial, but वो हमारे साथ एक क्या बोलते हैं कि अपने नॉलेज और अपने स्किल्स को हमारे साथ शेयर करके हम उनके साथ कर सकते हैं. दैट इज मैंने इस पे तो इस पर भी हमने बहुत सारा काम किया. तो उसमें मैंने ICICI के साथ काम किया, ICICI के साथ हमने पार्टनरशिप की, फिर हमने बॉश के साथ पार्टनरशिप की. तो इस तरह से बहुत सारे पार्टनरशिप को मैंने वहां पर SCL में इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया. इवन टाटा के साथ हमने किया, तो टाटा को हमने कई जगह पे उसको हमने पैनल किया. तो इस तरह से हो सकता है हम लोग अगर बात करें तो पिरामल हो गया, एंड यहाँ पे SBI है, एंड आपका रिलायंस है. सो वी कैन sit and
yes sir
work together, right?
Yes sir.
Because हमारे पास बहुत फंड है भाई SCL के पास.
Yeah, you're coming from first batch. You have a huge experience of all the thing. Yeah, SCL and all the CSRs. Yeah, I think your knowledge is and experience is very enriching.
Right.
Akash,
you're on mute.
I think he has a network issue there again.
Maybe. Yeah. So I just like to thank you everyone for coming, for listening, for interacting. And yes, it's always good to be part of NIRD anytime, anyway. So All those who want to reach out to us or to me are most welcome, more than welcome rather. So thank you for inviting me and thank you for giving this platform. Thank you.
I wish to propose the vote of thanks for this evening. On behalf of NIRD and PR Alumni Association, I extend a hearty thanks to all our speakers and our moderator for taking out their valuable time for this informative webinar. I also thank our audience for being very active and interactive and patient. I would like to thank Team Abhivyakti for organizing such webinars regularly. And thanks to all. Have a great evening. Looking forward.
Thank
to
you, Rasika. Thank you, Akash, for such a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Risham.